What's up? What's up? What's up? It is 6:04 on May 15th. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you guys that are able to join us in person. If you're watching us on replay, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We will have a little competition for those that are not on the call that are watching us on replay. You'll want to stay tuned for that. Remind me if I don't cover that I do need to mention that at the end of this, but looking forward to this conversation. We have some good stuff that we're gonna have to go over. I was saying before we started the recording that this Saturday is Coach Bulger's graduation from college. So it's taken 5 years, got an endorsement, doing a lot of really good stuff and working on finding a job or subbing right now. Yesterday, you were in a kindergarten class, I believe. So Jacob, tell us a little bit about your weekend and your journey to college graduation.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of it, it just feels so long. Like there's so many things, and you go and talk to an advisor, and they tell you like you got to take these classes at this point in time, and it's like a list of 1,000 things that you just have to get done. Um, and then looking back on it now, it's like the fastest 5 years of my life. Like it felt like it just went by, and now it's all gone. And so the other day I was looking at Pacific. We have an online hub for all of your courses and your transcripts and all that good stuff. And graduation requirements is a section. And I was looking at that when I was a freshman, and it's all red because it's things that you haven't done yet, things that you don't have, things that you need to graduate. And I opened it yesterday, and everything is green. And I'm swiping down this big long web page of requirements that I have to have done, and everything is green. It's kind of a surreal feeling because it feels like yesterday I was in Coach Lunt's office telling him that I didn't think I was ready to come to Pacific, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do all the requirements. And but it's a long journey, but when you're done, it feels like it was yesterday that you started. So a lot of reflection, a lot of opportunities to reflect and think about the way the last 5 years have gone, things that I wish I would have done, things that I wish I wouldn't have done, things that I'm happy I did. So it's all coming together now, and it's kind of a sweet feeling. So yeah.
Well, you worked really hard, obviously, to get all those boxes checked and get them from red to green. You had to definitely go through a lot, and you made it. You're going to graduate. I have the graduation announcement and party invitation. So thank you for that. Now I know we have Coach Willis just joined us. Coach Lunt is at the Forest Grove Farmers Market and then is headed to the Timbers game tonight. Look for him in the Timbers Army. He has tickets to the game in the Army section. I don't know if he's painting his face or not. I'm not sure what instrument he'll be playing or how many of the, I think they like let smoke bombs go. I think it's going to be quite the experience, Coach Lunt. You'll have to report back next on the practice on Friday how this Timbers experience was. Coach Willis is, I'm not sure what he's got going right now, but we do have with us, if you guys have been keeping up, which I know most of you have been that are on the call, and if you're watching this on replay, I don't know. Hopefully you guys are all dialed in on the mastering your mindset and raising the bar. So I thought we'd do kind of a mid to end season check-in with our man Evan from Real Frequency Launch Agency and Amplitude Master Your Mindset. So Evan, I appreciate you coming into the meeting and joining us tonight.
Yeah,
You always bring great information. So if you guys are taking notes, be ready to take notes. And I was gonna say, if you're not, but you should be getting ready to take notes because Evan's about to drop some gems and give us some knowledge on three very important topics for the players that are on this call.
Yeah.
So Evan, thanks again for showing up. Appreciate your friendship and partnership, and I'll turn it over to you.
I really appreciate that. Thanks, Coach, and congratulations, everybody. Cody, well done. I know that's a slog sometimes getting through, but yes, it goes fast. And man, before you know it, these young men right here will be in your position, in your shoes, and they'll be thinking, holy crap, what just happened? What happened to my youth? And now it's go time for the real world, whatever that looks like, whether it's career or whether you're lucky enough and work hard enough and focus enough and have done the right things to put yourself in a position to play basketball beyond college. It can be a reality. Playing basketball in college can also be a reality, but there's things that really are important to focus in on and key in on now so you can make sure that option is available to you when the time does come, whether you desire to play, whether you know what level you can play at, whether you're striving to play at a D1 level, and maybe you're a D2 player, maybe you want to play at the D2 level and you maybe you're at the D3 level or NAIA, or you want to definitely mess around and play club at the college level, because I know that can be really competitive too. But to know that now and to be able to verbalize that now and to understand where you are in this lexicon of basketball and sports in your future is really important for you to know now. And if you don't know now, that's okay. But at least thinking about it and doing things, taking steps to get yourself closer to be able to be confident when the opportunity arises, if it does, to be able to make a really smart decision. We're going to cover three things: mindset, which everyone here is very familiar with. I've been poring over your interactivity, the videos you've been watching, the chapters you're involved in, the things that you're responding. I am beyond impressed with everyone here on the call. There's some people lagging behind a little bit, but I would implore each and every one of you, particularly those that are heavily actively involved in mindset, understand it, believe it, and practice it, to be a great teammate. Find out who isn't maybe engaging at the highest level. Put your arm around them, maybe have a conversation with them, help them along, bring them to your level, because that's what we do as really good teammates. When someone's down or someone's behind or someone might not be doing the work or working hard enough in certain areas, it affects everybody. I think everybody here understands that. It's our prerogative, and the statistics show that when you work your mind as much as you work your body and your craft, it comes together for you quite nicely. That's when opportunities arise. That's when you can play at the next level. That's when the next level becomes a reality, and not just in the form of an opportunity to play, but potential scholarship money. And not just any place, but a place that you fit in 4 criteria. And we'll talk about that too in a bit. But yes, mindset we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about NIL. I'm sure that's a hot topic for everybody. Maybe you know a little bit about it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you've just heard it. Maybe you wonder if you're NIL eligible, meaning can you make money off of your name, your image, your likeness? Okay. Can you make money doing that now? The answer is yes, you could. If you have the right steps in place and you're doing the right things, we'll talk about what those right things are. The last part is I want to pull, and I hope everyone feels comfortable sharing. You've probably been on these enough where you feel comfortable chiming in. I think there's a raising hand function. I don't know if that's turned on or not for them, Coach. If so, I would really love it if everyone muted their cameras, and then if you had a question, be able to have a confidence enough to raise your hand, and then we'll call on you. And also, I'm going to ask some questions, and I'd like you to utilize the chat as well to answer, and we'll see what we come up with. First and foremost, I want to pull everybody. I want to ask everybody, please, anybody all at once or one at a time, raise your hand here electronically, what your initial understanding and feeling is towards the mindset work you're doing, because we know it's important, but do you? Anybody care to share? And I have everybody's name here too, so I might call on some people. I know who's winning the battle. I know who the most engaged are. I'd rather not call on them because I kind of know the answer there. Anybody? Let's see here. Coach, help me out because I don't see everybody all at once. Kellen Fitzgerald, talk to me, dog. Talk to me, bro.
Asher's been doing a lot. I can see, let's see, Kellen. Kellen, do you want to say something?
Coda's been killing it.
Yeah, I'll say
yeah.
something.
Kellen, hook it up, bro.
I think it's been pretty helpful so far, not just playing basketball in general, but also outside of basketball. If I'm ever stressed out, I kind of know what to do and how to take action of it.
Dude, nailed it. Right? Because mindset isn't only useful on the court, it's useful in life. And in fact, you'll spend more time off the court than you will on it. Obviously, I mean, you sleep, you go to school, you're at home, you're going to be working, whatever you may be doing. The time to learn it, the time to implement it, and the time that it's cemented in our brain is when you're actually playing a sport. That's why we love sports, to train mindset, because it's so applicable and it's in the moment. You're in high pressure situations. Hopefully you've put yourself in a position to win. And if you find yourself in a position that you're losing, how do you manage it? How do you manifest the win? How do you manifest that energy? How do you manifest that focus when things aren't going your way? When the adrenaline is absolutely pumping through your veins, and it's really hard to make a decision when adrenaline is pumping, right? We have breathing techniques. We have focus. We've been through this, guys. And I know I have watched Coach Miner in action. And every time I get the hair on the back of my neck stands up, if I had hair, I'm bald. But I get goosebumps because this guy is engaged. This guy is focused. And all he asks you to do is engage and focus in the time in which you are on the court and in his presence, because he knows that time, that practice, this belief is going to pay itself tenfold when you're on the court and 100-fold when you're off of it. Because I know that's the type of coach Coach Miner is. He cares not just about W's. He cares about creating strong men with strong will and confidence in everything you do. I wish I could say it was all about the W's. And I mean, I know I've had conversations with Coach. We like W's. We like to win. We're not allergic to W's, right, Coach? And ultimately, we want W's, but also we want you to be able to be confident and learn if there's a moment of failure, if there's a moment when your back is against the wall, because that's when it really counts. And Coach, I don't want to steal the words out of your mouth, but you and I had a great conversation yesterday.
I'll just do ditto. Because you know what the message was. Asher has his hand up. What do you want to say, Asher?
Yeah, Asher, hook it up, bro.
Personally, something that I've always like really struggled with is self-talk, especially when I'm working out by myself. And something that like I got out of it last year as well, and something that like I still kind of struggle with some, and I'm trying to like get better. And this and helping is just like being able to have positive self-talk, especially if I'm having like an off day or something.
Yeah. Man, I love that, bro. I'm so glad you brought that up, because that leads into a conversation that Coach and I had again yesterday. Easy to have positive self-talk when things are going really well. Easy to have positive self-talk when you ace a test. Easy to have positive talk when you hit that three from well beyond the arc, maybe from center court, right? I'm awesome. I'm the GOAT. I'm the man. Let's go, right? It really, truly counts when you miss that shot, when you bomb that test, when you make a mistake, and in what we would call and tell ourselves is a stupid mistake, or you make a terrible pass, or you get picked off 2-3 times in a game, and it happens. Call that the yips. All of a sudden you can't make a pass to save your life. What the heck is going on? Oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. I'm so stupid. I can't pass. Why can't I pass? I'm the worst passer of all time. And these are things that are going through your head that you honestly, in time, if you're not trained, cannot control. And it can affect your game, and it can affect your confidence. And then you're going to carry that, right? You carry that off the court on the drive home when you're trying to focus and sit down after game and say, hey, I got homework to do. I'm stupid. and dump. I can't do this. And everything is connected. It all kind of leads in from one thing to the next, right? Kobe Bryant said he'd rather go 0 for 30 than he would 0 for 9. Right? Actually, I think he said 0 for 60. And that's because he doesn't want to stop trying. And he believes he can do it. And he believes he can turn it around. Or he did, RIP Cobes. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. That means a lot. One thing that will tie into playing in college and NIL is being honest and open about what troubles you, not just how awesome you are. Right. You've got some eyes on you from a coaching staff, not just Coach Miner, but I know Coach Willis. These guys have a ton of experience. They've been around some really great players. They know what they're doing. They know what they're saying. And you don't have to impress them with your three-pointer or your ability to shoot free throws. I bet you they're more impressed with how you handle yourself when you miss that free throw or when you miss that three-pointer, especially when it counts. Maybe you lose a game over it. How you manage and maintain and talk to yourself through those times. That's truly when coaches take notice. Coaches said this before. I've heard it time and time again. Gino Auriemma, when he's recruiting the women basketball players for UConn, he goes, I go to high school gyms not to watch them win, not to watch the players I'm scouting kick ass. I go there to see them fail, and then what happens after. That's what I go there for. I can look and see how good they are on paper. I know what their averages are. I know what their abilities are. I know what position they play. I can watch that on YouTube. What I don't see in their highlight tapes and on YouTube is when they screw up, when they totally botch it, when it's on them, the game is in their hands and it goes sideways. What happens? That's what he wants to know. That's what he wants to see. And that can make or break a scholarship for a player. That can make or break someone actually playing for one of the most elite programs in the nation, potentially of all time, right? And men's side, not much different, guys. UNC coach, Coach K, Coach Krzyzewski, he's always been about that. And man, have they talked about mindset, especially now that they're out of coaching and they're more vocal about where they are in this process of their retirement, what they used to look for, and what they think is really important and what makes a great basketball player. Okay. Anybody else? I'd like to hear from 3 people. Coda, it'd be cool if I heard from you. You've been balling out in mindset for sure. Any words of wisdom? Any thoughts?
Coda said his connection is spotty.
Okay.
So
Who else we got, Coach?
Can you
he
guys hear
might
me?
be able to- Yeah, we can hear you, Coda.
Yeah, I
Alright,
got
cool.
you, Coda.
I'm thinking a lot of like, whatever you like happens on the court, you can't focus on too much. You have to get through it. Next play mentality, and get through the hard. Trying to think of the word hard.
The
Bad
hard
play.
knocks, man. The hard
Yeah.
knocks, right?
Yeah.
The bumps
Yeah.
and bruises, Coda. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Coda and anybody else, anybody breathing big, acting big, thinking big. Does that resonate with everybody? I know you've been through that. Right? When you act big, you think big, you perform big, right? And the breathing part is actually one of the most important parts of it, because many times we find ourselves not breathing, particularly when the pressure's on high. Guys, we do this, we play this game, we create this pressure for ourselves, right? And it's so funny peculiar that we put ourselves in this position. We work really hard to make it a pressurized game, a pressurized situation for ourselves. And then what happens when we're in it? We break down. Built all this work just to get to the big dance, just to get to the championship, to play in the tournament and make it to the game on Sunday night. And then they're there, and it's incredible to see when players start breaking down. They play differently. They think differently. They talk to each other differently. Coach Miner probably can speak to how you practice those moments, in that it's supposed to be fun, by the way. Statistically, when you're having fun, you play better, right? Which equates to more wins, which equates to better team chemistry and communication, which equates to coach yelling less. And truthfully, by the way, it equates to referees making better calls. So you are in control and responsible for everything that happens to you in that game, particularly when it's pressurized. Look nowhere else but yourself, right? And of course, your teammates. Now, if everyone's doing that, we're all in unison. We have this, what we call a lexicon of communication. That is, everyone's on the same page with breathing big, acting big, thinking big. And when that happens, big things occur. Big wins happen. Championships are achieved. Statistically proven. It's not hocus pocus. It's not loosey goosey. It is something that the professionals are provided, mindset coach, mindset work continually, right? Phil Jackson is one of the first to actually implement it across the board when it came to him coaching the Bulls and of course the Lakers. I mean, their meditation sessions were long, 4 hours a day. And they're like, hey, coach, we're going to play basketball. He's like, nope, go home. We played basketball in our minds. That's all you need right now. Lo and behold, they crushed it. They kicked series ass. I think we all know that. Now, how does this all translate to you playing in college? I think that you guys can make the connection because at the college level, the pressure is that much higher. There isn't enough time in many cases for you to catch up and do this mindset work so you can be ready to play at that level, whatever it may be, NAIA, D3, D2, D1, right? It is far greater and the chance of you getting recruited and far less of a risk of a coach recruiting you if they know that you're sound in your mind, in your body, in your craft. You don't have to be perfect. They just have to know you've been working on it, which is why A, we record your results, B, why we feed them to coach so he can hold you accountable too, and C, so you can hold yourselves accountable. That all lends itself to playing at the highest level. Furthermore, regardless if you believe this or not, or you are actually, demonstrating it on the court, we know if you're interacting, and it's been a request and actually required by a coach for you to do this. There may be a time when Coach Miner gets a phone call from a recruiter at a college that you very well may want to play for. And perhaps it's next year. Perhaps you're a freshman. Perhaps you're a sophomore. Maybe you're a junior. I think you have one freshman coach. And perhaps he hasn't really interacted with you in the last 2-3 seasons. But coach knows he was on that team, and coach does his diligence at the college level. They want to know everything. They want to know about you, their freshman coach, their sophomore coach, their high school coach, their club coach. They want to know about mom and dad, who's going to be interacting with them. Is mom and dad going to be the one that's doing most of the talking? God forbid they are, because that's going to be a huge red flag. We need you to speak confidently about yourself and about your game and about your mind and about your craft, right? So this coach calls up Coach Miner. Hey, Coach Miner, I got Johnny Smith right here, and we're thinking about recruiting. Can you tell me a little bit about him? Coach Miner's like, oh yeah, man, I remember that guy. Man, he was a tough worker, man, and man, he could shoot the three, lights out, like no problem, like nobody's business. Oh, fantastic. Was he reliable? Yeah, let me see. Let me check and see if he's done his mindset work here, kind of showing up for practice. Yeah, he missed a couple practices here and there. And oh, coach. Yeah, I required him to do this mindset work within our program, and he only went through 1 or 2 videos. And after that, he didn't really interact. That kind of was a bummer for me. I hope that doesn't affect his chances. Coach is like, thanks, Coach Miner. That's all I need to hear. Boom, done. Move on. There's someone better. There's someone faster. There's someone that is more connected to their mindset than Johnny Smith. It is, Coach, and again, I may be parroting what you're saying, but it is the little things that really, truly matter when it comes from you separating yourselves from one player to the next. Men's basketball is one of the most competitive sports in the nation. A lot of people play it. A lot of people have access to it. Not many have access to the level in which you are playing. So you have a leg up. This industry, I will promise you, as much as I know it, is not equal. So get it out of your head. It is not equal. You will not be treated equal. You will not be viewed equal. Every little bit that you do is to separate yourself and disqualify others and bridge that gap between inequality and you, making sure that you are the one selected and not the other guy. And the little things are what makes the difference through this. Okay. Who here, by show of electronic hands, wants to play at the collegiate level, any level, NAIA, club, D3, D2, D1? Hit it up. And it's okay if you don't. And it's okay if you're not sure. Okay, I'm hearing lots of hands, lots of hands. Oh yeah, okay. Fantastic. Excellent. Oh, they're coming. They're coming. All right. Have you keep your hand up if you have, and if you haven't, take your hand down. So keep them up. Have you verbalized this desire with your coach, whether it be Coach Miner or your high school coach or any other team that you've been playing on since you've had this desire? Okay. If you haven't, take your hand down, right? Okay. For the most part, I think maybe one or two have not. Let me tell you how important. Okay, good. We're going. Coda, did you have a question, or you were saying you want to be in on college basketball?
I was saying I just want to be in college basketball.
Excellent. Okay. Verbalizing and letting everybody know in your ecosystem, including Coach Miner, including Coach Willis, any coach that you come in contact with at the high school level must know that you have this desire. They must know that this is what you're striving for. I don't care if they laugh in your face. You will let them know. And I think many times players are reluctant to tell them that they want to play at a collegiate level because they're afraid of what response they're going to get. Oh, no, dude, you can't play at the college level. Like, you? Yeah, right. First of all, I'd have a hard time thinking that any coach would actually approach you like that. But it's a real fear for some. And they never let those around them know that this is what they're working towards. Okay. Now, you've got some great coaches. So if you verbalize this, all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're going to hold you accountable. That's what coaches are there for, truly, is to hold you accountable in practice, to stick to the game plan, to run plays appropriately, to pass when you got to pass, to shoot when you got to shoot, what play to run when the pressure is high, right? And to hold you accountable. That's how it works. If you can respond to that, fantastic. Playing sports is almost one of the most easy things you can do in life in this stage right now for you, because you're told when to show up, you show up. You're told to work hard, you work hard. You're told to work on your mindset, you work on your mindset. You just do what you're told. And then lo and behold, things start happening for you. Things start clicking. You're a better basketball player as a result. You're a better teammate as a result. Oh my gosh, your grades are better as a result. All of these things really critical for you to play at that highest level, whatever level that may be. And I wouldn't diminish D2, D3, NAIA. I don't really put them on D1 on a pedestal by any means, because D2 is freaking hard, boys. To play at the D2 level, I mean, you're one in millions to have the shot at even just riding the bench. D3, same thing. NAIA, yeah, sure. There's more opportunity there, but it ain't for everybody. And then, of course, there's club. So to know and understand this process from the beginning, right now, if this is your desire to have a guide, to have the tools and the knowledge to do it, it's important you let people know. Okay, that's the first step. Second step is GPA, school, really prioritizing what's important for you in this process. really prioritizing what your behavior is outside of the classroom, outside of basketball. And it has much to do with your interaction with social media. Some of you, most everybody here, I'm sure, is on it. They certainly, hopefully, everyone's pretty smart about what they post, because as you've heard, social media and pictures on the internet, it follows you everywhere, and it can really bite you in the ass in the long run for something that you've done your freshman year, and you're a completely different person your senior year when you've already committed and you're ready to go. All of a sudden this comes to light. You have to answer questions. Sure, you might get past it, but it's a burden. It's a mind suck. Stresses you out, and it could change someone's perspective about you. So we call it social media hygiene. Hygiene, like you're cleaning your armpits, guys. After a stinky ass game, you got to clean that social media, and everything you do from this point forward, if you want to play, you got to be real mindful. Not just that. And this ties into NIL. Other people's social media, meaning if you've been tagged, if you're in the background and someone's taking a bong rip at a party that you just happen to go to, and there it is, there's friggin' Johnny back there, not holding a beer, not taking the bong rip, but talking to a good friend about, hey, this is bogus. We got to get the hell out of here. Oh, well, pictures are, speak 1,000 words. All of a sudden, you've got some answers. You got to come up with some answers and some questions that you're going to be faced with. So hygiene, being very cognizant of it. It's important. Next piece, relationship with your parents and communicating with them. One of the hardest things that we do as human beings is parent. And everybody here, and I know everybody here, because they've chosen, your parents have chosen to spend the money, to spend the time, to spend the investment on grit for good reason, because it's some of the most world-class, best coaching you're going to get out there in the nation. Not kidding, in the nation. I've seen these guys in action. I am thoroughly impressed always. The ethos of it, the mission, the goals, the values, like, you guys are getting class A coaching right now. Okay. Parents care. Are there AAU teams that are more competitive and win more games? Probably. Are there games contentious? Are the parents yelling? Are they crazy? Is the coach up the referee's ass? Probably. But are they getting the education that you are? Are they being guided and coached in a manner in which how to act with each other, with a referee, with other parents that are trying to yank your chain? Potentially not. My son plays at a high level as well. We travel the country. We'll be in 6 different states in the next 3 months: Georgia, Illinois, Cincinnati. We'll be in Phoenix. We'll be in Seattle, Tacoma. So I get to see a lot of high level play. I get to see a lot of how other teams demonstrate their public image, demonstrate their play on the court, demonstrate their communication with referees. Some of it's really great, and I can tell in a second. Others, embarrassing. Parents yelling, screaming, fighting. I was just in Tacoma a couple of weeks ago, and there were literally, a parent came out of the stands on the court and accosted a player who had a technical foul against his son. Literally, a police officers had to be called. What? I would be hard pressed to find a parent within this group that would ever even dream of doing something like that. Not even close. Because I know Brant Miner's mission, his ethos and goals have really, really strong values when it comes to respect, when it comes to respecting the game, and then owning it. Coaches in recruiting and NIL and companies that may want to leverage you to profit off of your likeness. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? They want to know about mom and dad. What are they posting online? What are they saying about Johnny? What are they getting involved in? What kind of public political fights are they picking on Facebook? That's important. That can affect your ability to monetize, and it also can affect your ability to be recruited to college. Any questions so far? Any thoughts on this? Coach, you can chime in too if you have any questions.
No, I just think I'm echoing what you're saying. We had a player that played for us, made a post on social media that said something about, I think it was about R. Kelly, and it was supposed to be funny. College coach called me up and said, "Hey, I'm not going to recruit that kid anymore."
Ah,
And I said, "No, I mean, let me look at it." And I looked at it, and I didn't know the reference, or I mean, I didn't know what it meant, but he thought it was funny. The coach took it a different way,
mhm.
and it could have cost this young man his scholarship to play at the next level. And fortunately, the coach at the school listened, and I said, "Hey, I think it was just an oversight. I don't think he's a bad kid." And so they fortunately still gave him a scholarship and are letting him go there. But like you were saying, Evan, it was something that almost cost him his scholarship.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
something that he thought was kind of funny, just kind of a little joke or a little like, it was the tag on the video. And then there were some people that comment, it wasn't even his video. He was
Forwarding on.
collaborator.
Yeah.
Collaborator.
Oh, collab. Yeah.
So like he
Yes.
collabed with this other
Yes.
highlight video of him playing, and it said something about R. Kelly, and that almost cost him his scholarship because he improved it. And
Yes.
I explained to the coach how, he didn't even write it. He just accepted the collaboration. And he said, "Yeah, but he had to accept it for it to show up on his page, right?" And I said, "Well, yeah, he does. He did have to do that." And so fortunate that they still gave him a spot, but don't let those 140 characters, and also emails are free. Today,
Yeah.
I see these, it was "I'm super dope" at Gmail on a college application. I'm super dope at Gmail. But emails are free, right? So why would you not come up with something a little better than that? I could see if it was like really expensive, you had to change your email and you had to spend thousands of dollars to get it changed. But no, emails are free. So when you guys are getting to email coaches, come up with something different than Hotballer
Yeah.
at AOL or whatever. Come up with something that's your name.
Yeah. Anything with a
Yeah.
goat in it. Nah,
You don't need the goat in your
I have a
email.
feeling you can't back it up. Right.
Right.
Thanks
Well, no,
for
I
bringing
think that's
that
all
up.
good information for sure. And I liked what you're saying about, that it could cost you NIL money too.
Yeah.
So
Now we can get into that briefly here.
right.
And I'm glad you brought up the email too. So when we have clients, we work with clients in the high school level to transition to college and play in college sports, and then from college sports to the pros, whether it's in Europe or the G League or the NBA. And I was just talking to Corey Kispert, plays for the Wizards now. If any of you are familiar, is a Zag, go Zags. I went to graduate school at GU, and he was telling me. I asked him, I was like, "What is the what was the biggest difference between the level of play and the what you were used to at GU?" And he goes, business, how you carry yourself, what you're expected to do. And of course, Corey's doing pretty well. I mean, he was on one of the worst NBA teams in the league last year, and he's dealing with that. He had won just a little over 10 games, 13 games, maybe even 16 with the Wizards this last year. And he lost 10 games his whole time, all 4 years at GU. So talk about him having a strong mindset. And he was one of the leading scorers, passers, rebounders, assists. He's no joke. He's legit. The chemistry is coming along, but it was business. And guess what? That's now trickling down. When he was in college, NIL wasn't a thing. This is pretty brand new, guys. Pretty brand new. And you can monetize your name within that NIL. And yes, that email is really important because it starts with that. It starts with communication and engagement. And if, yeah, companies out there and they're interested, and we'll talk a little bit about that as far as how that works. But if they see Goat Baller, I'm the best at Gmail, they're like, yeah, that's not within our brand. It's not within our brand. As a business owner myself, I'm very picky too. I want people to represent us who carry themselves in a confident manner, who speak well about themselves and understand their strengths, right? I don't care if they swear or if they're, rough and tough on the court. I really think that's phenomenal. That's the way that they play. That's what made them really successful. But they also are fully aware of what's going on in the business realm too. You may have heard this too now, that high school students in some states, in most now, can receive NIL money. Has everybody heard that? Do you know that? No, that is a thing. And it's important to know that how to monetize, and if you're able to monetize, when to monetize. Many people just have no idea what your NIL value is. How do you figure that out? Well, it's how much money you spend. That might be with grit. That might be on equipment. That might be on travel, and aggregating all of that and understanding what your real worth is within this basketball community. Okay. And of course, it has to do with how are you going to reach people, typically through social media, whether it be TikTok, whether it be Instagram. Not many are on Facebook. Twitter, it's a pretty big one. If anyone could tell me in the comments, tell me what's more important here. Do you think it's more important to have more followers or have high level of engagement? What's the most important thing when it comes to receiving an NIL deal? Followers or engagement? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Good. Yep. All right. Gave it away. Now you're on the right track. It is engagement. There's a player we work with in Chicago, and he had a fellow player on the team that got the same NIL deal as he did. And it was this drink company that's local to Illinois. Okay. And he's like, what gives? What the heck? I have 250,000 followers and they're all authentic. That's all been organic. They're legit. The other kid, he had 25,000. That's a drop in the bucket. It is really hard to get to 250,000. That's really, really difficult. The difference is that when the athlete with 20,000 posts, people like it, people share it, people comment, he gets back on and he comments back. He likes their stuff. He follows them. He's engaging. And that's all that really matters, because it doesn't matter if you have 3 million followers. If you put something out there and no one's sharing it, so they just swipe by it. It takes 2 seconds for Instagram to recognize that someone's actually paid attention to your post. You need to watch or listen to 1.5 seconds of a video for them to actually count it as a view. It doesn't matter if the video is 59 seconds. Now, that is the biggest piece of this, is how you engage. And if you're not well versed on it, or you don't feel comfortable doing it, it's going to help your chances of receiving any type of NIL, right? Any questions on NIL so far that you, because I could
There's
go on
one in
and
the
on
chat, Evan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Colton asked, is NIL offered at every collegiate level?
Yes, it is, with an exception. School policy. But typically, and again, now think broadly, everybody. Think how new this is. They are states and schools themselves are learning about this process. It's a lot to digest. They are very careful with it, because God forbid anybody accept any money and then destroy their eligibility. But there are schools that have already gotten ahead of the game in deciding, listen, we'll engage with NIL at the D3 level, there's a local company, maybe this usually happens outside of basketball, usually happens within lacrosse or soccer, and they're in a smaller community, and it's like the hottest ticket in town. The local bakery or the local food mart wants to pitch them some money so they can talk kindly about their business on camera when they're interviewed at the local news. Great. That's NIL. We're going to pay the college a sum of money, and that money is going to be just dispersed, sometimes equally, sometimes not, to each player on the team. Okay. That can be done, and it has been done. It's beginning to be effective way to share an NIL. It's also a great way for all of the players to be supported through their educational journey, because it's not always fair, as some people say, but again, it's never equal. Okay. Great question. Great question. Any others before we move on?
Does anybody else have anything? That was great information. I do just want to reiterate that 140 characters could cost you $140,000.
Yes.
And if you put it out
that's
there,
a great way to put it, Coach. I'm going to steal that.
use it. If you put it out there, it can always haunt you.
Yeah.
And I know this sometimes more is with girls or women that I've worked with coaching, but think about what's going to matter 5, 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah.
What's going to matter, that's what you should be focused on, not what's going to get a lot of likes now.
Right.
What's going to matter when somebody's looking at your profile, thinking about potentially giving you an internship or a job. And sometimes you can even like things of other people's, and then it shows up on your feed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you're thinking about that this is like your brand.
Yep.
This is your image. This is who you are. And some people are saying that it's not a good thing. Social media can be a great thing if you use it right. Because if you don't have many followers, you're less likely to get paid. If you have a lot of followers and they're like, oh, wow, this guy's really has a lot of followers. People are engaging in his content. Like, how many of you guys know who Jared McCain is? Has anybody heard of Jared McCain? Asher has. Steele knows who that is. He was a freshman at Duke. And he looks like he loves the game of basketball when he's playing. He's got a huge smile on his face. He paints his nails. He wears nail polish, blue and white when he's playing at Duke. Sometimes he'll put black in there. Gets a lot of toxic masculinity, a lot of people throwing hate at him, calling him names. But you know what? Sally Hansen, one of the biggest nail polish companies in the country, is giving him money. These guys that are dogging on him, it's because he's going to go. I mean, what do you have? 30 to get them to the Sweet 16 last year, the freshman. Jared McCain can ball, but he's also going to smile and sing show tunes, and he just looks like he's enjoying having fun. And so people are paying him money to rep their brand because he doesn't just look like he's all pissed off all the time. He's not throwing elbows. He's smiling and he's serving them. He's giving guys 30 pieces and then smiling at them and singing show tunes from Disney on the way home. But he's comfortable in his masculinity. He's not worried about being, oh no, I don't want people to make fun of me. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
I am who I am. And that's confidence. And that confidence you earn that confidence by being who you are. And that's why we're telling you guys to stretch your comfort zone. Yeah. Step out of what's normal and easy for you and be a leader. But yeah, if you don't know who Jared McCain is, do your research. He's a baller. I think he shot like 40%. He was a 2-time state player of the year in the state of California. But he's getting paid by these companies because he's personable. He has a big following. A lot of people like him. He's not talking trash. I mean, he's doing it in his own way. Like, he's pissing off the guys on the other team, but he's not doing it by talking about their mom or saying stupid shit. He's doing it by smiling, and then that just makes him more pissed off. And then he's giving him 30, and then he's smiling at him. I don't know if he winks at their girlfriend, but he's a likable guy, and that pisses off the other team because he is having fun serving and giving you a 30 piece. Like,
That's awesome.
so I'm a big
so
fan
great.
because I think he looks like he enjoys the game. He's having fun. Plus, he can really shoot the piss out of the ball.
Yeah. And that can wrap it up because that's a perfect lead in to finishing this, rounding this out with the 4 criteria that is important. So he can be himself, play at that high level to paint his nails and make it work for him monetarily. And that is going to be the college life aspect of it at Duke for him. The academics, of course, that's important. You got to know what you're going to be doing, right? Maybe it's playing in the NBA, but you got to have a degree too, and you got to choose something. The finance piece of it, again, we just talked about that, monetizing your name. And if not, scholarship. If it doesn't come in the form of a sports scholarship, it's got to come in merit or aid from the government. You got to know how to manage that. You got to be smart on that. You got to have that plan down pat before committing. The last part of that is your environment. What kind of environment do you thrive in? Is it the grit? Is it the grit environment, which I can already tell that's the environment I would want to be a part of, playing ball. Now, or is it the hard nosed, getting yelled at, swearing, being the jerk, right? Having a coach riding your ass all the time and never complimenting you, right? That might be the way you thrive, but you got to know that. And that's what we work with athletes all over the United States to do so they can play at their best and be themselves and have fun and engage and really enjoy life, be joy-filled through this process. That's what we do, aside from mindset. So what I wanted to offer here, and I'm putting this in the link, is I'm happy to jump on for an hour with anybody here that is interested in playing ball at no cost to you. I want to meet you. I want you to throw any question you possibly can at me. And if I don't know them, I reach out to my resources, which are very deep in this industry at all levels, including the pro level, and I will find an answer for you. That's what we do. So you can move forward with confidence in this decision. I promise, leaving this meeting, if you meet with me, you will be smarter, you'll be more confident, you'll be more prepared, because that's what we do. Okay. I love Coach Brandt. We're not only, I obviously provide service, obviously, but I love this guy. It's like a brother to me. I don't know, ever since the day we met, Coach, we're like bros. So I want to do all I can to help your people. I want to do all I can to help your athletes and be the best they can be. So, and thank you for having me today. I love jumping on with your people. They're awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know you were going to do that. That's extremely generous and extremely appreciated. And I think that if you're not taking advantage of that opportunity to talk to Evan and get answers to your questions, then what are you doing? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I can provide you guys with these opportunities to be around people like Coach Bolger and Coach Lunt and Coach Willis and Coach
Love
Hellstrom,
those guys.
Evan,
Love those guys.
all those guys. I can bring them around you. And I said it, and if I didn't like you guys, I wouldn't hold you accountable. Like if I didn't, I would just, I've been riding Steele's ass. Like I've been like on him, like, dude, like, you've been unreliable. Are you unreliable? But I hope Steele, that if I didn't care, I wouldn't care, right? Like I would just not bother it. But I hope you guys know that I want to see you guys be better people and improve your chances. It's what we talked about the last meeting. I'm no guarantees, but you want to improve your chances of doing everything that you can do to get as close as you can to your goals. So that's all we have tonight. I really appreciate everyone that is able to be here. And if you're listening on replay, thanks for listening. And we will wrap it up. So thanks again, Evan, for coming and pouring into these guys.
Absolutely.
That link we will send out to you if you're watching this on replay. If you're watching this on replay, the first person that is not on this call that watches this on replay, that texts me, I got something for you.
Yeah.
I got something for you. I have something for you, Cody, at practice on Friday. Caleb, I have something for you, and there's a few others. So, yes, Coach Lunt says, great stuff. Evan, aka Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Look alike. All right, everybody. Thanks again for coming, and we'll see you guys on Friday night. Let's go, Grit.
Let's